Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Gypsy, and I actually want to get into a pretty decent video today. So there's this YouTuber I do watch, Rodney the Voice Baby, and he's hilarious, okay? We're gonna do a reaction to it, and it's pretty interesting. I want you to hear his perspective. Let's see who resonates.
Good evening, y'all. This is Rodney, and I'm back. I didn't want too much of nothing. Craig, the writer, Stewart. There was another woman. I don't know if she was trans or not, but it was another woman. And the reason why I mentioned if she was trans or not, because it kind of leads into something that I want to say later in the video. And this is actually my first time watching. Maddie in the Morning.
Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning,
I
Maddie
think
in the
different people can call in. It's actually kind of like, I actually kind of like it from what I saw. I think people can call in, so it's like a conversation with, I guess, you know, people who enjoy the show. So, anyways, what made me watch the video was because I was watching, listening to Erica's video, and she made a comment about the video, and so I wanted to go see it or listen to it for myself. And the video was basically that particular day they were talking about basically taking care of other people's kids that are not biologically yours. Now, before we even get into this conversation, let me just go ahead and say I understand, I comprehend that there are many layers to this conversation. Mm-hmm. You know, I understand that in some situations it's not so black and white. Mm-mm. However, in this video that they were talking about, because they played a video, I want to try to keep it around that video and the discussion that they were having. Again, I understand that there are many layers to this type of conversation, especially as pertains to taking care of other folks' kids. So basically, in the video, before they had the discussion, they played a video of a black guy and a black woman, black man and a black woman, and they were having a disagreement about. So basically, she had 3 kids by 3 different men. And one of her kids' biological father was the guy in the video. They were in a relationship. The relationship ended. I think they continued to have sex, but the relationship ended. And she was telling him, I guess when they were together, I believe they lived together. Like I said, I watched this video like a week or so ago, and I believe they lived together. At that point, I believe he helped care for the other 2 kids that were not biologically his.
Right.
But once the relationship ended, that came to an end.
Okay.
And so she was telling him that if he's not going to buy, or if he can't buy all 3 kids a pair of shoes or like a shirt, I think it was a pair of shoes that they were talking about in the video, that he doesn't need to buy anybody anything. And his argument was basically, those other kids are not mine. I only have biologically 1 child over there, so that's the only person I'm responsible for.
Which is true. It's true.
Listen. You are not obligated, you are not responsible to take care of anybody else's kids but your own.
Correct.
Okay, let's go ahead and put that out there.
You are not obligated.
The responsibility usually it lies on 2 people.
Well, in this case, him for his kid and the mom for the kid.
Whatever the case is, y'all get what I'm trying to say. Yes, you are not responsible for taking care of anybody else's kids. No, you're not responsible for taking care of anybody else's kids. But I understand what that woman was trying to say. She's coming from the view of, because I have to actually deal with after you drop those shoes off, I have 2 other kids that I have to explain to why they didn't get any shoes.
Right.
Or why they didn't get a toy.
Right.
Or why they didn't get an outfit.
Right.
Yes, biologically, you have one child over here. Biologically, I have 3. And I'm responsible for all 3.
Right.
And I don't have the time. And I can't and I really can't explain to these children. It's hard to explain to these children why Lil Ray Ray got something, but Keisha and Pookie, Lil Junior, Pookie Junior, you didn't get nothing. Kids.
Now you see, yeah, he's completely right? The mother will have to explain to the other children why, you know, the other ones didn't get anything. But at the end of the day, that's what it comes with. You know what I mean? Because then the case is if he doesn't bring anything at all, right? Because he obviously wants to take care of his child, and he decides, okay, well, if you're making this ultimatum where if I can't bring something for my kid, I can't bring nothing at all. Now the issue is, oh, I'm a shitty dad. You're a deadbeat because you don't bring anything at all, right? So I think the issue isn't more so that the father is, you know, obligated or not obligated. It's the fact that the mom, we know we carry a baby, right? We're the ones who get pregnant, you know, so we have to take on that role as a mother. It might suck right then and there, but baby, if he wants to do the part of his child, I can't force him not to. You know, it's gonna suck for the other two, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm gonna have to explain that. I'm not gonna stop my other child from feeling love from his father because the other two children want to be, fathers want to be deadbeats and not show up at all. You know, that's really fucked up. As long as, you know, they should see positive, you know, couples, you know, there should be definitely a man around to give them that, you know, that feeling of a family, you know. Mom has to do what a mom has to do. And I feel like stopping the man from caring at all is fucked up either way. So if you stop him from not coming around, that's fucked up too. Because now you're punishing the child that is his because he didn't have the other two with you. You know what I mean? Or you're punishing... It's just either way, it's gonna be fucked up. You know, stopping him from bringing something for his child because he doesn't want to take care of kids that aren't his is fucked up too. Just as much so as it's fucked up for you to say, okay, well, I'm gonna have to explain to him why he didn't get anything, as if it's his fault he didn't get you pregnant with the other two. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't meet you then. He didn't have those two kids with you. He's 100% not obligated. But if he wants to, that's great. But to tell him he can't, that's a little fucked up too. You know, these are my kids. I gave birth to them. So I'm going to have to bite that bullet and say, hey, me and him are no longer together. And that's completely fine because mommy's happy. But at the end of the day, he's not your dad, right? So he's going to take care of... You have to explain that to them. You can't make that man the bad person because y'all aren't together anymore. That's the thing. But I 100% understand. Nobody's obligated to do anything. Especially if y'all were having sex and you're not even married. Hello? She already had 2 other kids. She had one with him. Y'all having sex, y'all messing around, y'all not even married. So baby was gonna come from somewhere, you know? So that was another downfall. You have 2 already, and you know, you're not looking for anything commitment-wise, and you have another one, and now you're gonna penalize that father. The other 2 fathers need to be in the picture. That's the issue. It shouldn't be only one father's in the picture. That's the issue. We need to have all of these fathers around. You don't have to be together, but you need to have them around. Have them showing up. Have them meeting at a park. Have them going places with their father so they know that they're loved by both parents as well. Just putting all of that burden on one person that y'all aren't even together anymore, it's kind of fucked up too.
Don't understand that. One thing I've come to the conclusion of when it comes to as it pertains to my nieces, and those are my blood, so I know the conversation is not necessarily the same, is if I can't buy both of them something, ain't nobody getting shit.
Right.
If I can't walk in the house with 2 dresses, ain't nobody getting no dress.
But that's also the nice thing to do. You know what I mean? Think about the situation you were just saying. Like, the woman was with a man and they had a baby, whatever. Was he trying to be with her long term, or was it a fling and she ended up getting pregnant? You know what I mean? Was he someone looking at it that way? Like, down the road type situation? Was he taking her into, you know, like, I want to marry her and I want to be the stepfather to these kids? Or were they just messing around? You know what I mean? If they were just messing around and she ended up having a baby, he's going to only love his baby. And that's sometimes how it ends. Because he's not planning long term. He doesn't want to be nobody's stepdaddy. but he ended up having a baby with you. You know what I mean? So it's like very conflicting. Some people in general don't feel like it's appropriate because it's like, I didn't sign up for all of this. You know, we end up just having a baby on an accident. So I want to be there for my child. But to take on this whole dad role for all of your kids, come on now. You know what I'm trying to say. But no, nothing's wrong with being nice. If you can afford it, if you have the means, if you have a plug like that, please. That's really great, especially for our single mom. You're helping the single mom out a lot, you know what I mean? Because now you're giving, if the other two fathers aren't around, now you're giving all three of them a great image of what men can do and how men can be.
If I can't walk in the house with 2 dolls, ain't nobody getting no dolls. Because you can try to slice it, dice it, flip it, and try your hardest to explain to these children why. Well, I found something for you, but I couldn't find nothing for you.
Right.
They're not gonna understand that. All they understand is she got something and I didn't get that.
Right.
What the fuck my dress at? Nigga, you done walked your black ass into this house with a baby doll, and now you trying to tell me that you couldn't find, they only had one left. Well, you know what? You shouldn't have got nothing for nobody. Hello?
But you know what's funny now, too? And now if the script was flipped, if this was a man with a kid, and the woman was dating the man, would the woman be doing the same thing? Because I know a lot of women that would say, hell no. They would be on the same mentality. Like, those aren't my kids. You do stuff nice in the beginning because you want to, you know, please the man. But in all actuality, I know plenty of women that literally would have their own kid instead of don't want to date a man with a kid. What? What?
Like I bought my oldest niece some sandals. It was some sandals that I felt. I have been looking at these sandals for years, but I'm not gonna take them over there until I go find another pair of sandals for my other niece. I'm telling you how it works with these kids. You can walk over there and be like, hey, I'm gonna bring you something tomorrow. The next day come, you bring something for the other child. Now the other child that you brought something for the prior day, they looking at where my sandals at. Even though you just brought them a pair of sandals the day before, they not thinking about the day before. They only thinking about today. All they know is you walked in this house, it's 2 of us, you walked in this house with one thing. Something ain't right. So I get exactly what that woman was trying to say. I have to deal with this after you leave, after you bring these shoes, I have to deal with the aftermath. I have to try to explain to these kids why they didn't get nothing. So therefore, if you can't buy nothing for...
Also, you know, if that's the case, can the father take the kid? The one that's his? Could he have like longer visitate, like custody, you know what I mean? Like instead of spending a day with their child or just them stopping by and bringing toys, how about you give them like weeks at a time or like a week or 2 with the father and you go back and forth like that. That way, whatever the dad does in his home, which that's another idea too. He could also just have gifts for when the kid comes over that he plays with, that the child can play with when they're over there versus them come to your house and just, you know, low-key brag in front of the other kids. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, you could do it that way too. There's ways to go about it, you know. But is that a possibility? Could the father just take the child for, you know, 2 weeks at a time? Or could you just keep the toys and things you want for your child over at their house? So when she or he comes over there, they have those toys.
All 3, then don't buy nothing for nobody. I'll just deal with it myself. And that's what she said. Again,
I wouldn't do that though. I wouldn't say I'm gonna deal with it myself. Not at all. Do what you want for your child.
Of anybody else's kids that are not biologically his. However, if you can do so and if you can afford it, why not? The older that I've gotten, I'm telling y'all, there's some I don't know what it's called, girl. I used to have some ignorant ways of thinking, and I'm not gonna just call it ignorant if you don't think the same. I mean, if you still think the same way. But for me, you know, I used to have some ways of thinking where it just be like, girl. And you know, the older that I get, hopefully, the smarter that I get and the more evolved I become, some things, you know, it's just like, oh, okay. We do have this thing over here where we really don't give a fuck about nobody but ourselves. We don't give a fuck about nobody but ourselves. Especially within Black Americans. And have you noticed, let's just keep it all the way 100, y'all. Have you noticed how Hispanics, baby, they will, girl, this is not to sound funny what I'm about to say. Girl, it would be 15 Hispanics in one truck. Because everybody know that everybody's looking out for everybody. We gotta get to work. And if one person got a call, then bitch, everybody got a call. We all trying to get to work. It'll be 10 Africans living in one.
All right, so that is correct to us. Caribbean people do this as well, right? So Caribbean people will look out for other Caribbean people. Like, we're from the VI or whatever. And I actually used to live on top of some Mexicans, like when I had my apartment. And there was like 12 of them in there, you know. But don't be fooled. Like, we do it because we care, but that care is to a certain limit. Like, a lot of people do it because they know, like, you can't afford to do certain things. So we're going to help you out till you can, but I'm also going to get a cut of what you're doing. Like, people don't think about that either. A lot of Caribbean people do that. Like, okay, you can't afford to live anywhere. Okay, come on, live with me. Give me $300 out your paycheck every month or every week. Same thing they were doing downstairs. They had all their family living with them, but trust me, they was collecting checks. And I actually remember when they all left, like they all moved out or whatever, and it was just like the original couple that moved there. And I was like, oh, what happened to them? And it was like, oh, they got their own place and da da da. No, they just moved to another place that was doing the exact same thing to some other, you know, people that were down on their luck or, you know, just coming to America. We do that a lot. We look out, but don't underestimate while we're looking out. There's always something in it. It's not just fucking love.
House. Because if one got a house, we all got a house. We don't operate like that. It's, bitch, that's my child. Fuck these other children. I don't give a damn if I...
That's another thing as well. That's not... I don't know, like, African-American culture. Like, I don't know if that's a thing, but I know in other cultures it's the same way. If you're lied, like, for example, if you're lied to, we call it a jacket. If you have a jacket, somebody gets pregnant and say it's your baby. If they find out later that that's not their kid, that's all I'm gonna say.
Was in a relationship with you. The relationship is over. So therefore, since the relationship is over, fuck them kids that I help you take care of. I can't get with that now. Now, if you would ask me a few years ago, I probably would have been like, girl, fuck them kids, them ain't your kids. But now it's like, how can you be in a relationship with someone? And I think Craig did tap on this. How can you be in a relationship with someone and after the relationship ends, especially if you were with them for a certain amount of time, just basically just be like, well, bitch, fuck them kids. Like, that shit is weird to me. And T.S. Madison, this is where this bitch started to lose me. She was pretty much saying, like, bitch, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, I don't give a damn if other kids are involved. They ain't got shit to do with me. Fuck them kids. She was on some whole, like, if I got one biological child with you, and you got two other ones from other relationships, but those are not my responsibility. And
you see, this is the issue, okay? Because I can see both sides, right? I actually have a child. I can see both sides of what he's saying, right? So some people, and I don't want to say it's ignorant, but some people, the older they get, they have no time. Right? So if they literally have no kids with you and you have kids and they was in a relationship with you and everything, they definitely loved your kids. Like, no doubt they loved your kids. But when y'all break up and there's no ties anymore, how long do you expect them to continue to show up and be there? Like, that's a great person. Trust me, if they was doing it, that's a great person. But you have to think logically, right? How long are they going to continue to do that? You got to remember, there's still going to be that if y'all are not together and the person's still coming around, are y'all trying to get back together? Because that's gonna be up in the air too. And then on top of that, are you even looking for new people? Because say you meet a man or you meet a woman and this person that's your ex is still coming around trying to be nice to your kids, what is gonna happen then? Like, what is gonna be the movement? Like, how are they gonna, okay, so I'm dating you, but you still got your ex coming around being a stepmom or stepdad to your kids. Explain, please. Like, I understand you wanna, where are the kids' fathers? You know, nobody's talking about that. I need to watch the original video with T.S. Madison. But the kids' actual parents, fathers, need to be in their lives as well. Because you putting so much on a person you're with, regardless if it was a month, 9 months, or a year. If you do not work out, you do not work out. And if you want to stay around to keep the kids happy, they make you happy, you know. There's a lot of girls that do that. Like, when you're in a relationship with a woman, like gay, A lot of women will love to still be around your child unless they don't want kids to begin with. They loved you, so they was putting up with the kids. And that may be the case too. But that's what I'm saying. If you're dating somebody else and your ex is still coming around trying to be, you know, super dad or super mom, how does that work? How do you maneuver? You can't get benefits from both. You're not married to either. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, I hope it makes sense. I'm sorry, the light. Sorry. But I get both sides, 100%. Some people feel like they don't have any time. They don't have time to be playing mom or dad and the relationship didn't work out. You know what I mean? So why keep showing up? Some people don't have time to, some people do have time. They fell in love with their kids, you know what I mean? And they want to be around. But what happens if you move? What if you move on? Are y'all trying to get back together? Because I'm coming around might spark up some, you know, feelings. Who knows? I feel like that's what's really up in the air at that point. Because it definitely happens. There's definitely couples that, you know, they still want to be in the kid's life, but they're using the kids to get to you, to get back with you. Do you want that? Like I said, it's up in the air.
This is what brings me into this conversation, this part of the conversation. It is so weird that we, as members of the LGBTQ, and this is not even my story. This is let me make myself perfectly clear. This is not even my story. But I've run across people. I have friends that this has happened to, where they either came out as gay, lesbian, or trans, and their parents threw them out on the way, threw them out like trash. Either they came out as gay, lesbian, or trans, or either they were suspected of being gay, lesbian, or trans, and baby, once those parents got a hint or a whiff of it, baby, they threw their black asses out on the motherfucking street and didn't give a fuck about nothing else. The clothes on your back, the panties, the bra that you got on, that's all you got. Fuck you, get your faggot ass out my house, get your dyke ass out my house, get your tranny ass out my house. That's how it is. So you would expect, or you would assume that these trans women and gay folk and lesbians would have a better understanding of if there is a child in need of care.
You would assume that, but not everybody's on that same wavelength, Rodney, baby. Like, not everybody's on that wavelength at all. I'm bisexual myself, and I didn't go through that when I came out, but you don't expect that. Not everybody thinks that way, you know what I mean? When it's not them. Not everybody thinks that way.
Care why you would help that child. Because there were so many, and let's just go ahead and just keep it all the way 100. Girl, it's riding after dark. It's a few of y'all probably, some of y'all grandmamas and mamas and daddies who ignorant as fuck, who stupid as fuck, who was kicking children out of the goddamn house because of them being gay or trans or lesbian. And so now you have all these children on the street having to sell their body just to get by, just to get a high plate. It's actually making me emotional. I need to stop talking about it. Just to get a high plate. You know what I'm saying? And so now you have these people who come together and create their own families. Like, bitch, do I work tonight? Then you have these people who come together.
Where y'all stop and say, Rodney? Where your Starbucks?
That's right. That's why when you watch shows like Pose, how you have, you know, the Blancas of the world. Like now you have a mother. Now you have a father. Now you have a sister, a brother, a niece, a nephew. That's how these families within the community were created, because y'all families was kicking us out onto the motherfucking street with nowhere to go.
Hello? Yes? Still recording? What's going on? What? What order? What do you mean it canceled? Okay, what do you want me to do? I don't know. I don't even know what you did. All right, I'll order it. Okay, I'll order it. I'm filming.
Go. And so now we have to come together and create our own family. You have these people, you have these women, these trans women and trans men and, you know, gay and lesbian folk who come together and say, you know.
Okay, so he's getting a little, you can tell he's emotional about this. But what he's talking about right now doesn't correlate to the woman with the 3 kids. Right now he's talking about in general, right? How kids need assistance, and we, especially in the LGBTQ community, you go through adversities and you go through a lot. And he's obviously saying like how he feels like that's super just crazy, is ass backwards and it's disrespectful, because if anybody was to neglect the kid, the last person you would think it would be somebody in the LGBTQ community. And to that I actually have something to say, because think about it. Do you remember Domo and Chrissy? You see how Chrissy is nowhere to be found when it comes to Domo's baby, right? Because some people just don't function that way. I don't think Chrissy even wanted a kid, right? But Domo did. You get what I'm trying to say? Like situations like that, and they are obviously, well, lesbians, right? They're lesbians. Domo, yeah, they're lesbians, but you can see what I'm saying. Chrissy is nowhere to be found, but you see every day Domo doing something with her baby. Like, you would think the last people on earth would be LGBTQ people to think that way. And I'm sorry to say, Rodney, baby, but we don't all function on that spectrum. We don't. Some people don't consider me a part of it, but I'm bisexual. But still, it's very sad. I get what get some Starbucks, Rodney. You be alright, baby. I'm sorry. Get some Starbucks. I love you. Hilarious. Okay, I watch it when I'm at work at night, y'all.
You know what? I got you. You come over here, you can stay over here. I'm gonna make sure you eat, have somewhere to lay your head at night. Since your mama and daddy ain't shit, they kicked you out. So it is very surprising that you had someone like Madison, who is 40 plus,
right,
and a trans woman,
right,
basically saying, I don't give a fuck about these kids. If I was in a relationship with somebody and, you know, I'm not responsible for none of the motherfuckers except for mine.
But I understand that too.
And it's like,
I just explained that, you know. I understand that too. I see both sides.
Like when I say fuck the kids, I don't mean fuck the kids for real, girl.
Rodney's so stupid. Like, don't bring them down. We supposed to be clubbing.
Drop the kids off at their motherfucking daddy house, bitch, so we can go to happy hour and get on these goddamn drinks. Hello? Girl, fuck them kids. That's what I mean when I say fuck the kids.
Can't you finish the video?
I mean, fuck the kids. Just throw them to the wayside, girl. I didn't know we was doing that. We really doing it? Girl, I guess we are doing that, girl.
No, it's not we. It's not we.
I mean, y'all locking them up in cages. Some of them ain't got nowhere to go, sitting inside a foster home or sitting inside of a building. Hello, adoption building, wherever they at. So I guess we don't too much care about them. I guess it is true. I guess fuck the children up.
That actually goes deeper though. You know, that is a little bit deeper. The whole foster home situation, and that's family issues, period. Okay, you don't end up in a foster home just because willy-nilly. That's family issues in general. Like, there's something going on, okay? You can't blame that all on one person just not being there. Well,
you know, I understand that people barely making it nowadays, but you barely got enough money to feed your own goddamn family, you know, your own goddamn kids. I can't be trying, but if you have the means, especially if you are in a relationship, that's my thing. Like, how you gonna get into a relationship with somebody and basically just be like, girl, I don't give a fuck about them. Girl, fuck them. Fuck them. Like, I don't want
there's plenty out there though.
Like, I dated somebody with a child before. It wasn't necessarily a bad experience, you know, thank God. But, you know, I wouldn't date, I don't date people with kids.
That's exactly my point. That's the point right there. If you do not feel like you can do that, because you got to remember, you're not just in a relationship with a mom. You're not just in a relationship with a dad. You're in a relationship with the kids as well. If you do not feel like you can do that and take on that commitment, I don't give a fuck how much you like her or how much that dick is. Do not date somebody with kids. That's just period on blank, unless you feel like you can commit to that, because there's a lot that goes into that. You can't just show up, you know what I mean? I get both sides. Like, I get why you will only take care of yours, or, you know, after y'all break up, you just feel like, what's the point of me being around if I'm not going to be with you, or you don't want to be with me type situation. But that's the thing. Don't be with somebody if you're not ready for that type of conversation with kids. Period. Don't do it. Yeah, my phone died. I'm trying to make this video for you, girl.
Today, no matter how you flip it, dice, and turn it around, if you get involved with somebody with kids, you know. And I used to be one of the main ones. Girl, fuck them kids. Them ain't your kids, bitch. But you know, like I said, you know, hopefully I'm growing and realizing that some shit ain't right. You know, if you don't want to deal with somebody's kids, then bitch, don't date nobody with kids.
Period.
That's just the easiest way to put it. So therefore,
you can say Rodney got a good heart, baby, because you see how this is hitting him, how it's affecting him. He ain't even got kids. He has a good heart because he's thinking past that. He's thinking past that, like how the kids go feel once I'm gone. You know what I mean? Because you chose to be with that person. You know what I mean?
well, their responsibility won't be on your shoulders. Now, in some situations, I understand. Every situation, you know, is not just a, you know, it may be a single mother, single parent in the household, but both parents may be very active
exactly.
in their child's life.
That's what I'm saying.
Situation, if you have it like that,
that's different.
You can buy a little kid a pair of shoes on Christmas,
and you'll be fine because they have their fathers.
Birthday or his birthday or whatever the case may be. You may not have to necessarily go out on a limb to make sure the child is taken care of because parents are involved. But in some situations, we know. And you would think that with so many motherfuckers walking around here that grew up in single-parent households,
they would want to be
a little bit more empathetic, sympathetic, whichever word it is.
Empathetic, sympathetic.
To the situation. And, you know,
but Rodney, we can't point fingers and then say, you gotta remember the same ones that you just said. A lot of motherfuckers grow up in single parent households, right? They should be the main ones who want to be around. But guess what? Women make it difficult for men sometimes too. I've seen it. I ain't lived it, but I've seen it. I was friends with a lot of people, and you could tell that they was toxic as F. And that goes back to the foster home situation. Sometimes it's not the father. Sometimes it's the mother. Hold on. In my other video, I mentioned there's assets and liabilities to everybody, no matter who you are. For example, you can be an asset to somebody. You know how people say, oh, I don't want to date nobody with kids, like we were just saying. You could be an asset with kids to somebody. Because what if that man can't have kids and he wants kids? What if that woman can't have kids and she wants kids and you have one? That's an asset to her. Her situation, you are an asset. Because she wants to love somebody. She wants to love a child. And you, him, she, woo, they, whatever, ZQ, they provide that. You know what I'm saying?
Like one of the girls, like I said, well, I don't know if one of the girls was trans or not. But she was saying how like she grew up in a household with 5 or 6, I think, brothers and sisters, and her mother made it. And this is the thing, like as children, we look
as
children, we're not dumb. We know some things that go on in a household, right? But the truth of the matter is we're not privy to everything.
Right.
Like, while yes, your mother made it work.
You don't know what she did.
Your mother made it do what it do. At the end of the day, you don't know. Like, I'm sure it was a struggle for your mama.
Hey, you guys. So, my camera died. It got hot. So, we're going to finish the video.
6 kids. And it probably would have helped her out a lot if she could have received some help from somebody. But you know, a lot of us, we do have a lot of pride in not receiving help. And like, for some reason, we have that. Everybody, like I said,
give me the help. I need it.
Story of, well, I made it happen. But the truth of the matter is,
I don't want to struggle.
You don't know if your mama was selling pussy. You don't know. Yeah, you had a roof over your head, but you don't know if your mama had to go sell some pussy on the 31st. Or get on her knees and suck a few dicks to make sure the lights was on. Like, you don't know the ins and outs of what your mama had to do in order to make sure that she could provide for y'all. And I'm sure that your mama having 5 or 6 kids, and if she was a single mama, I'm sure that if somebody could have stepped in and helped her,
she would appreciate it. Yup, she would have wanted it.
Girl, go my manager.
He's so stupid.
Hold up, y'all.
Well, get me some Starbucks.
So, anyways, you know, like I said, I'm not saying go out and try to save the world and, you know, girl, of course you.
It'd be nice if you could.
Your household is taken care of before anybody else's, you know. But I do think that when you start having these conversations about being in relationships with people who have kids, and then like the relationship may, you know, come to an end, I do think it's a little bit strange, you know, how you could then just be like, girl, fuck them kids. Now, for example, I had a situation, you know, my mama was married to my stepfather. I couldn't stand his ass. He probably couldn't stand our ass. So, in a way, you know.
You're like, I already know.
You know, try to help out with our mama as much as I walked around that house, I'm speaking to his ignorant ass, you know. Well, he could call me ignorant too, but in those situations, yes, I can understand how it's like, bitch, the relationship is over. Fuck them kids. Them hoes that respect me or like me anyways. Okay, whatever. But I do think in some situations, you know, like I said, the conversations that they were having on Madison's show, it really circled around dating people who have kids and basically like if
that's
you're not
weird.
Together,
if you don't want to be in their life,
responsible for your kids. And like I said, no, you're not responsible. No, you're not obligated. But I mean, I don't know how you could date somebody with kids and just be like, girl, fuck the motherfucking kids.
Right.
Like I said, I used to have that mindset. I did. Girl, fuck them kids. Them ain't your motherfucking children. But like I said, you know, now it's like, girl, how can you really, like, on some real shit, how can you really date somebody with kids and just be like, girl, fuck them kids? Girl, just don't date nobody with kids.
That's how I feel, and I think I said that earlier. So yeah, that's gonna be the video. As you can see, my little chicken over here is sleepy. So yeah, I'm about to get some Starbucks and call it a day. But I 100% agree. I do agree with what he's saying, and he's coming from a place of love. Like you could tell, he's definitely, he has emotional attachment to what he's talking about. But yeah, don't date people with kids if you don't want that conversation, because that's a deep road and that's a long. There's twists and turns and up and downs with that. So if you really feel like you can't do that or it's too much, I understand how love is. Sometimes you just try to see it out, but try not to. I don't see the point. Because like I said, I met women who think that way too. They'll sit there and say they don't want a man with kids and legit will have a kid. That doesn't make any sense at all. But I know some people, the older they get, they have no time. So they're like, shit, if we're not together, then fuck them kids. That's just how it is. But I love you, Rodney. Everybody else have a good day. Love you all. Be blessed.